Quinta, Monday on ET, TV's biggest night done right.
The fun, the fashion.
You know you're giving Jessica Rabbit tonight.
Right.
Ay, gracias. I had not thought about it. Thank you, Dolce & Gabbana.
And all the things you didn't see on TV.
You're gonna have to tune in. And don't forget, the pre-party starts with us, too.
Yes, it does. Join us at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Happening now.
Phone problems at the school are more than just a hang-up. They actually have some parents concerned, especially when you couple this with a new law banning cell phone use in schools. I'll tell you what's being done to fix the problems.
Adam, it's week 3 of big game coverage.
And of course, we're feeling the heat. We'll be live tracking the weather and talking about 2 tropical systems that we're watching.
And we're talking about one game here. It's our game of the week. Brandeis taking on Steele. We got your preview coming up. The news at 5 starts right now.
And first at 5, problems with the phone lines at one local school had some parents feeling more than just a bit disconnected. They're worried that the spotty service, coupled with that new statewide ban on cell phones in schools, could be putting students' safety at risk. Katrina Weber tells us why there may not be a quick fix for the telephone troubles.
Thank you for calling the first level.
A call connected, rarely thought of as success on a cell phone. But lately, it's something some people reaching out to Pearsall Junior High School haven't always been able to do.
It's not that we're not having anybody having access. It's just more of it's going to be limited until we can find a long-term solution.
Assistant Superintendent Adam Martinez confirmed what Pearsall ISD posted on its Facebook page Thursday afternoon, that the school had a phone outage when their provider, AT&T, may not be able to fix.
Right now, we're only able to use 2 lines that we have available for parents or community members to call.
The way one person described it, the phone service here has been spotty, off and on, and it's those offs that have some people concerned.
And we need the phones here. It's an emergency. We need it.
That woman who didn't want to reveal her identity has grandchildren at the junior high, but didn't know about the phone problems until I told her. She says that, along with a new state law preventing students' cell phone use in schools, now has her especially worried.
That's not right. You know, because everything was going on with this world is crazy, and hello, they need their phones.
Well, I was trying to see if the phones were working. Admittedly, every time I called, I got through. But one parent told me off camera she had absolutely no luck. The trouble with the lines had her wired.
They can attempt to call the junior high if they're finding difficulties because, again, there is only 2 lines. They are able to call the central office.
Martinez says he hopes for a final phone fix soon, but AT&T will make that call. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
2 years probation. That is the punishment for a local teenager accused of planning a mass attack at Rhodes Middle School. Stefania Jimenez joining us now here in the studio to explain what happened in court today. Stefania.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to go through. So we know that this 13-year-old has been in custody since San Antonio police arrested him back in May. And that's important because since then, his attorney, doctors, and counselors have been working with him. So then Judge William Cruz Shaw, who's been overseeing this case, has gathered a lot of information about this teen in the last few months. And as Myra mentioned, the teen got 2 years probation. On top of that, he also has to follow strict conditions. We're talking about a curfew, counseling, no contact with Rhodes Middle School. He also can't possess or access ammunition, weapons, nothing flammable. He's also going to be watched on social media. He has to give the court all of his social media screen names and passwords. If you remember, initially, the teen was taken into custody on a terrorism charge, but the Bexar County District Attorney's Office only formally charged him with possession of a prohibited weapon. And today's punishment shows that the judge in this case wants to focus on rehabilitating the teen. Just listen to what the judge told him directly during today's hearing.
You have gone through a lot that most people would never understand, okay? I don't understand, but we're gonna have to get through that. Understood? Yes, sir. And that cannot be the crutch for the rest of your life. You're gonna have to move on from all of that, move on from this, and be a productive member of society.
This case, by the way, extends far beyond this teen because his mother, Ashley Pardo, is also facing charges in connection with this case. Investigators say that she bought her son ammunition and tactical gear, even though he planned to carry out acts of violence. But at this point, she hasn't been indicted. Myra.
All right, Stefania, thank you for that update. We got him. Those are the words today from the Utah governor announcing a suspect was in custody for the shooting death of conservative political activist Charlie Kirk. That suspect is 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. A family member came forward after investigators released those images of a person of interest. ABC's Jacqueline Lee from Orem, Utah, with the latest on what we're learning.
Today, we're learning new details about the suspected shooter of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The governor of Utah naming the suspect as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, saying he was taken into custody after his father recognized these photos authorities released of a person of interest.
On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
Robinson has been booked into the Utah County Jail, held on suspicion of felony discharge of a firearm, aggravated murder, and obstruction of justice, according to probable cause documents. ABC's Matt Gutman speaking one-on-one today with Utah's Department of Public Safety Commissioner.
The investigation's active and open. We will look at everything. We have no reason to believe he did not act alone, but in an investigation like this, we don't take anything for granted either.
31-year-old Kirk was hosting an event on Utah Valley University's campus Wednesday when a single shot was fired, killing him. Police say they found a rifle and cartridges in the woods nearby. Investigators interviewed Robinson's roommate, who shared with them messages he said Robinson sent to him on social media.
The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point.
The messages also referred to engraving bullets. Police say several of the cartridges found had writing on them. Officials say Robinson lived with his family in St. George, about a 4-hour drive from Orem. A neighbor who says she knows the family well says she never thought this is something he could do.
He was a very quiet, very well-raised young man. And they were playful little boys. They have 3 brothers, and that's how his mom and dad would have raised him.
The Utah County Attorney's Office is reviewing all of the evidence and plans to file formal charges next week. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Orem, Utah.
Charlie Kirk was a well-known name among young people in the Hill Country. This morning before school started, high school students and their families gathered to pray at Bernie's main plaza. More than 150 people came to mourn the loss of Charlie Kirk. He often talked about his Christian faith, and many here today said that they felt connected to Kirk for several reasons.
He was one of the few men to actually be brave enough to speak up, and I feel like his views were controversial, but sometimes controversy is the truth.
We don't have a lot of political influences that are also believers as well, so I think that's why it just hits so hard, you know.
Last night, a vigil was held at the Christian Family Church on the north side, and more than 100 people attended that event. Let's take a look at traffic out there right now during the 5 o'clock commute. I-35 north, you can tell which ones are the northbound lanes. Those slow going, moving away from the camera right here at the 410 interchange, an area with a whole lot of construction, but one that is also used to a whole lot of traffic at this hour. And that's certainly holding true on a Friday. We want to get a first check of that forecast, but we have Adam Caskey, who is out and about at Linhof Stadium. It's Friday night. We got Friday night lights, but the heat comes first. Adam.
It does, but luckily we have a pretty good breeze out here, and that's taking all that radiant heat from this hot turf and getting it out of here pretty quickly. If the air was stale, it would definitely be a lot stuffier out here, especially over the turf. Of course, I brought my infrared thermometer, and we're going to take some readings on different colors of the turf, and I have a comparison for you coming up in a few minutes. First, let's chat temperatures. Officially at the airport today, 94 degrees. You look at Shirts right around the corner. At Frank's house, 98 degrees, 93 Del Rio, 89 though in Kerrville, 97 Santa Maria, Bulverde 93. Of course, with the sun beating down on you, it feels a little bit warmer when you're not in the shade, and we don't have much for clouds to give us any natural shade right now. All right, so let's get to the game time weather. Kickoff, 7:30 p.m. here, Linhof Stadium, Brandeis versus Steele. 90 degrees at kickoff, still warm. Then the sun quickly sets and we drop down into the mid-80s by halftime. The drive home, not bad, 82 degrees. And like I said, we have a steady breeze blowing through here. You can see it on the orange flags on the goalposts over there. It may impact the kicking, but good for the players and good for the fans. We'll have your full forecast talking about 2 systems in the tropics that we're tracking in just a few minutes.
All right, Adam, we'll see you then. Thank you. A double shooting near a local sports bar has left one man dead and another injured. This happened on the east side near Rigsby Avenue and Covington Road. SAPD says 2 officers were parked nearby when they heard the gunshots. They found a 21-year-old man who was shot in the leg and a 23-year-old who was shot in the abdomen. Both were taken to a hospital. The 23-year-old later died. Right now, it's unclear what led up to this shooting or who the shooter could be. New at 5, an Amazon delivery driver attacked by a dog while on the job. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office tells us this happened this morning on West Montgomery near Cinco de Mayo Drive. Deputies say the employee was bitten by an Australian cattle dog and had 2 small puncture wounds, but they are expected to be okay. According to a BCSO preliminary report, the dog is properly vaccinated and is now in quarantine for the next 10 days as a precaution. In the last 13 days, today's incident marks the 4th dog bite in Bexar County, 3 of those cases involving a delivery driver. That's according to the count that we are keeping here at KSAT. 20 local veterans headed to the nation's capital today, and they won't have to pay a dime for that trip thanks to Honor Flight San Antonio. The nonprofit helps veterans of World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War fly to Washington, D.C. to visit the monuments and memorials dedicated to their incredible service. The veterans on today's flight came from the Army, Marines, Air Force, and the Navy. They had a combined service time of 265 years. We hope they enjoy a well-deserved trip. New records show Texas DPS helped arrest thousands this year as part of President Trump's mass deportation push. Coming up, where those arrests are happening and who's being taken into custody. But first, before we go to break, here's another look live at Lindhoff Stadium. You can see still breezy, like Adam told us. Steel Knights and Brandeis Broncos will face off there tonight. It's our game of the week. We'll check in with Adam and sports director Larry Ramirez coming up. New at 5, records obtained by the Texas Tribune show the Texas Department of Public Safety arrested more than 3,000 people under Operation Lone Star 2.0. DPS says strike teams are working with federal agents across the state to arrest people suspected of entering illegally. Civil rights groups, though, warning the sweep reaches deep into cities and risks racial profiling. Officials say it is to help President Trump's mass deportation plan. This week on Pickup Lines, our Ernie Zuniga is going one-on-one with former District 4 City Councilwoman and mayoral candidate Dr. Adriana Rocha Garcia. She was born on the West Side as an only child and often collected aluminum cans with her father to help make ends meet. Adriana graduated from Southwest High School and as a single mom, later went on to become the first in her family to earn a college degree. Eventually, she made it to City Council, where she recently wrapped up 6 years representing District 4. You might recall that Dr. Rocha Garcia launched a bid to run for mayor last spring. But when that failed, she devoted much of her time to caring for her parents, both of whom are currently living with Alzheimer's.
The most difficult day, I think, of my life so far was last year on my birthday. And my dad always remembers everyone's birthdays, or he used to. I show up in the morning and he forgot it was my birthday. He didn't say anything, and I had to help him get ready because I had to take him to a doctor's appointment. But I was speaking in engagement before, and it was downtown. He was just frazzled. It was just a terrible, terrible day. He never remembered it was my birthday, and so that was just like that was just the hardest day ever.
In this episode, Dr. Rocha Garcia also talks about her new role as president and CEO of the Center for Health Empowerment in South Texas, or CHEST. The latest episode of Pickup Lines premieres right after this show at 5:30, and then it replays at 7:30 this evening, all on the free KSAT Plus app, or you can watch it right now on KSAT.com. Just search Pickup Lines. If you're looking for something to do Sunday, you can visit the San Antonio Zoo for just $8. The only requirement is that you have to be a Bexar County resident. You just have to bring proof of your address. The zoo is open from 9 to 5. But first, we got things to do tonight. Friday Night Lights, people going to stadiums across our area. That is where we rejoin Adam Caskey out at Lenhoff Stadium for our Game of the Week. And that all-important temperature check out there on the field, Adam.
Yeah, and every time I come out to one of these stadiums, I'm reminded on why we wait until later in the evening for our kickoffs, because it's hot out here, and that's why it's so empty. It's not even worth warming up this early and getting outside. Now, it's 98 degrees for the air temperature, but I want to take a look at the actual turf temperature. So this is an infrared thermometer, and it takes the surface temperature of the object you pointed at. Look at that, up to 128 degrees. That's on the black part. We go over to the green part, and it's about 124, 125. So obviously a very hot surface, but that cools rapidly. Once the sun sets, that temperature drops really quickly. Just gives you an idea of how hot these artificial fields are, because they're made of these ground up tire pebbles, little black tire pebbles that you see, get stuck to the sweaty skin of the players. I mean, it's not sustainable to have real grass out here. I understand that. It just shows you how hot these fields are in the middle of the day. Okay, look at that cloud over my right shoulder. See that little thundercloud off in the distance? Well, that's a little downpour that we have that we can actually see. It's just outside of Pearsall right now, and that's headed toward I-35. Not much to it. It's just a little shower that's out there, and that's headed off to the northwest. Now, taking a look at the big view, upper level high in charge. And we have that 10% chance every day, which is exactly what we pointed out. But by and large, with the upper level high in place, we're looking dry. It's New Mexico, West Texas, and up the plains where they could see some showers from this kind of weather pattern that we're in. But around town, no, it's unlikely we'll see very much. Now, the upper level high does split around this time next week. It changes our weather pattern a little bit, but nothing significantly. Like, it really is not going to have a huge impact. It'll open the door a smidge to disturbances, but we're not anticipating any big disturbances to move in. You look at the overall rainfall potential, it's, like I said, West Texas, New Mexico, then up into the plains, not necessarily our turn this go around. Quick look at the tropics, 40% chance of development from a tropical wave just coming off Africa into the open ocean of the Atlantic. And then in the Pacific, we have Tropical Storm Mario. Not a very strong system, but it's likely to strengthen a little bit as it heads to the northwest, paralleling the Mexico's coastline. And, you know, sometimes we can get the remnant showers from those and rain-making energy. There's no indications that that's going to happen, unlike last weekend when we did get the remnants of a tropical system from the Pacific. So 93 now downtown, will be 90 at 7 o'clock, 88 at 8 o'clock. Once that sun goes down, it's going to feel a lot nicer out here at these games. Pretty much the same into the weekend, just some high thin clouds and some patchy fair weather cumulus clouds. Mornings in the lower 70s, afternoons in the mid 90s for the most part. 94 tomorrow, San Antonio, but 92 Comfort, Bernie, and Bulverde, 95 Floresville, Divine, or Uvalde, I should say, at 94. And then really, it's just plus or minus a degree every day. So think of every day at 95 in the afternoon, give or take a degree with a decent amount of sunshine, and unfortunately still no good chance of rainfall. But there are some signals that the weather pattern may shift over the next 10 days or more, so we need some patience. And of course, Larry Ramirez joining me out here live at Lenhoff Stadium. Okay, week 3 of big game coverage. What do we have going on tonight?
All right, so we got our game of the week, Brandeis. In fact, Brandeis is just getting here right now. Their team buses are pulling up. They are taking on the Steel Knights. Adam, both teams are 2-0. Brandeis is averaging 45 points a game so far this season. Steel is only giving up 11.5 points per game.
Ooh, that's a showdown then.
Yeah, so this is a good measuring stick game for both of these teams. Coming up in sports, we got a preview for you. Stay right there.
That's a good stat, wow.
They got a pretty good quarterback. You know, he can rush, he can throw the ball. They're a very disciplined team, you know.
Honestly, I think it is because, you know, they're known as a great team in San Antonio, and, you know, we want to be up there, and we believe we are up there.
Still night, Julian Hugo and Brandeis Bronco Jacob Gomez are ready to shine in our Game of the Week in Big Board Sports. Good evening, everybody, and welcome live to Lenhoff Stadium for our Game of the Week between the Brandeis Broncos and the Steel Knights, two of the top Class 6A high school football teams in the area, and both of these teams come in undefeated, and they are certainly ready for this showdown. Let's start with the home team and the Steel Knights. They are 2-0 and number 1 in 12's top 12 6A rankings. They won at Liberty Hill 45-10 to open the season, and they topped Reagan last week 28-13 before turning their attention to the Brandeis Broncos. Steel leads the all-time series 8-1, and they're hoping to make it 9-1 when the dust settles tonight.
Very, very well-coached team. They're explosive on offense. I think they're averaging 45 points a game. You know, they do a great job of running the ball. Quarterback takes care of the football, and you know, he can run as well. He finds open receivers, and defensively they're sound. They play with, you know, with great you know, tenacity, and they fly to the football, and they're physical just like they are every year. So, you know, I expect another 4-quarter game this week, and you know, I wouldn't expect anything else.
The Broncos are number 5 in 12's top 12 Class 6A rankings. They are 2-0 after two very close games to open the season. They beat O'Connor 42-38 in week 1, and last week they earned a 48-46 triple overtime win against Sotomayor. This is the Broncos' final non-district game this season, and they'd love nothing more than to topple Steel.
Yeah, historically, Steel is. I mean, they're talented, they're tough. They're always a state contender in the playoffs. We know we got to go in and we got to start fast. We got to do things right. We can't make too many mistakes because we know they're a talented team and they capitalize off those mistakes. So, for us, is to just do what we do and get better each week.
Brandeis at Steel at 7:30 tonight is our Game of the Week, and it's one of 12 games on our schedule to highlight this evening. Checking out the road trip tonight, it'll take us down I-35 beginning in Pearsall, followed by stops in Devine and Lytle. Mary will have more with the Pearsall Mavericks tonight at 6, and of course you can catch all the highlights and the scores tonight on the night beat, and then just a couple minutes after that, catch it all again on KSAT Sports, now available on KSAT Plus. That's it from Lenhoff Stadium. Myra, back to you.
Larry, you got to love a matchup between two undefeated teams so far in the season. This will be a good one. Thanks, Larry. We'll be back after this. Let's take a look at what is coming up on ABC's Primetime tonight at 7 o'clock. It is Shark Tank. Then at 8, ABC's 2020. In tonight's episode, detectives share how they cracked a Maryland mom's murder and what led them to an arrest 23 years later. After that, join us again for the Night Beat at 10. Now's your chance to nominate your favorite educator for KSAT's Educator of the Month Award. This contest officially kicked off. To enter your favorite teacher or school staffer, scan the QR code on your screen. You can go to our website as well, ksat.com, and search Educator of the Month. It's a wonderful opportunity to shine a spotlight on the people who do so much for our students and our community. One last check of traffic before we go. Highway 90 at Military, slow going for really what's been 3 days in a row. The westbound lanes stop and go right now during this 5 o'clock commute. That does it for the news at 5. We'll see you back here at 6.